too hard. Luckily, he allowed me and Steve to stay, and Steve, like, I think it was really helpful to that crew because the other two cameras didn't have to worry about the people because me and Steve were getting them. So I think that was a huge, like, if we weren't there, I think it would have been a lot harder for them and harder for Diggs.
Yeah, I was thinking, why would they move me if they were gonna have somebody that was from like the original crew be put on the paper? Like, why wouldn't it be like the Like, why would it?
Yeah.
That camera operator, like, how helpful am I gonna be?
Yeah, it's like I should have been on the cam and Steve could be on the
Yeah,
cam.
exactly.
I mean, Steve even brought that up too. It's like, why is there no, he was like, this is why you don't do this. Like, because something happened the first night.
Yeah, I like it.
I hate it.
Is the AC like broken in the Capitol? Is it still hot? Because we love this movie.
And
Yeah.
remember, and when I talked to them, they said they wanted to know.
True,
So,
true.
they either
That's
blow
right.
air on you or they.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so. Check, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing, Kim? Thanks for your help again earlier this week. It was instrumental.
Yeah, I
Thank you so much.
nobody asked me
Glad it all
what
worked
time
out.
to
It
come in.
sort of did.
Like,
Oh, what
The
happened?
camera still died.
Isn't it, there's power, right? We plug ours
We
into
did
power.
everything right. We still don't
Yeah,
know.
no, nasty.
One of my tasks this week is to rebuild what we built in Catholic to see if I can figure out the problem.
Oh, you're always first in here. Hello.
But we got a few pictures out. It didn't work after the first 3 days.
I wonder if, I mean, maybe connect you to what, like, with Fox to see like what the difference is, like, you know, cause I'm pretty, like, I know we plug ours into power, that's like, there's outlets right there in that ground panel. That we plug into the fiber as well, that's how we get ours out, but I'm wondering like.
Hey, do you have my email?
Yeah, I sent it to Ed and Danny.
I don't know if I got it. The email is just- I think that the
I
problem may
told them I wanted
be,
to give you.
maybe the camera itself. It's a new camera we've never used in that position.
Okay.
And we think it's because it was wrapped up in the cloud.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You sent it to my mobile. Oh, no, to Getty,
Yeah,
and Chips on the Getty, yeah. And you already sent it?
I sent it to the guys to.
Oh, okay, you sent my email to the guys for them to send stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet. That's right, don't hurry, because I'm gonna go up there and talk to you.
Well, Ed's in the chamber and Danny's.
Here, do you wanna see this real quick?
Me or Kim?
Because I know that you're asking for this stuff. This is a picture of the doorkeeper's daughter.
That was
About
Danny
this?
asking for it.
Okay.
Darius's daughter. Oh, okay, yeah.
I tried to get, you know, the Bono and Pelosi, and this is the only time she almost smiled.
She's beautiful.
She is very pretty. But yeah, I think, I'll let them pick which one they want, because I think he wants a print of it, so I'll let him pick, but.
Tired.
Yes, I think it's the camera overheated, which is a possibility, because it's a new camera, and this is it, it's the same model, it's not this XCF camera. But when it's on, the screen is always on. And it gets really hot, so I turn the screen over and off, but the viewfinder stays on still. There's a little TV camera in here, essentially like TV cameras. But we wrapped it up with cloth, and I don't know if and he tripped it. At one point, that 2 hours before the speech, I had to go up there because the stuff wasn't responding. We were already having troubles, and I had to pull the power source out, put it back in, and fire the camera up again. But
Are you talking about the podium camera? Or
yeah, the remote
flag
camera.
Remote, yeah, the flag.
It only fired for about
I heard.
very short period of time at the top of the speech.
Getting a list
We don't
of
know
our
what
demands.
we really don't know
Yeah,
what
'cause I
happened.
don't really know.
So I've got to try to rebuild,
It would make
recreate
sense.
what we had there the other night.
It would make sense that if it's something internally with the camera, just because like Fox didn't have any issues
No,
with theirs,
no.
so.
And the radio remote that I used to trigger it, just before the speech, I tested it, and Kevin was up in your gallery, and he said he was not receiving images when I hit the test, but he was able to trip the camera from his computer. So I said, fine, you do it. So he tripped it, and he said he maybe got like 2 or 3 minutes of time, and then the camera locked up. So
That's a shame.
yeah, it was very
Frustrating.
disappointing after all that work and after all that you had helped us with, and everyone else. It was just like,
I don't think so. And also, it's like, we're gonna try.
Technology, man.
Supposed to make our lives easier, right?
Daunting sometimes.
It's killing me.
I got you one in red, like it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar, one in red and one in black, and they're both from Zara.
I always just want to consult with those Zara dresses.
I do Zara, but I don't do any other like tight fitted stuff.
yeah.
Like you're never gonna see me like showing my midriff. Like,
Yeah, the little cutouts.
that's
I'm like,
not happening.
No. It's like,
Nope.
very.
Sometimes they even look like, sometimes like some of the dresses have like, you know, buttons up here.
Yeah.
And then they'll have like, but you have to like watch how far down. Because the slit comes. Like, I have to always make sure it's just at the top, that's fine, but I'm not showing my back either. Anyway, have you been?
Oh, I'm good. I just scheduled too much this week, so I just haven't caught up on stuff yet.
I have to cancel on something I was supposed to do tonight, and I feel bad about it, but like, so I'm like dying. I feel like I'm like on, I'm hitting the wall.
How did it go last night with, yeah.
It's like over outside.
Did you guys really
I mean, like y'all, like a top reporter. And I always like have to be told to I bring my partner over here, cause I get busy and then I just don't think, so she. Like, now they have to listen to us, so I get to see you. And so now I'm like, pack is it, I still have to pack, I have this like the new weekend and she's like, gonna try to bring it. Or she's not free up with my prescription, but I need it for next week, so I'm sort of in this like weird situation today, which means you think I was supposed to do tonight. No, I need to like go, cause I have to go all the way to Chevy Chase and then I have to go back to Navy Yard and like, I'm like exhausted. It's, and I know on CD, so it's kind of a big one going on for two people that used to work two major acres at COP that are really good friends of mine. And I know I'll see them again at some point, so I'm sort of like, do I need to go to this party? I'm just, I need to like take my full dose. I was like, I need somebody to give me like a shot, so I just like fall asleep. Maybe I'll take some Nyquil tonight.
Oh, adult PM's my favorite.
I can't, so, I know, I took Advil PM one time, and that was,
Oh,
right? And apparently, there's something in Advil PM that, like, all the stars have to align with other things too, but it can be a trigger for people who are prone to seizures. So it was funny because, like, after I had it, this was like right before the first of all my Adderall.
I was thinking.
And when I was talking to the neurologist, like there's a checklist, and they like ask like all these questions. Are you like sleep deprivation, dehydration, and Tylenol PM, like, and I was like, wait, what? And it was like check. There were like all these things that, and I was like, well, it makes more sense now. I guess you can like every person has like a good opinions of never having one. So it's not like, you know, it's not super rare, but anyway. Yeah, so I never ever. Adult PM ever again. Yeah, no, but like, Nyquil usually knocks me out pretty good when I have a cold, so. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, were you here when the NDMZ, the early media?
I didn't see
Oh, it was like, no, like halfway through, because I said something to Zeke. I was like, I don't think this is
prevent
And
everybody.
then like all of a
that,
sudden we're talking about the professional ones, all like it was all but, and then so I looked at Zeke like about 5 minutes into the press conference and he goes, yeah, this isn't working. And I was like, exactly. I was like, that's me to stand there and try to say, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah, I was basically,
That's so cool.
I can help you there.
and they stick my
Do that. Because they should be more like, yeah, give them a little bit more like room.
Someone's gotta go, right?
Yeah, and they're not at the right time.
Too much fun.
These ones were farther back.
Yeah.
It was just that row that was too far out. You don't need me sitting for me, I'm not the chair. There's
Lots of
plenty of
snakes.
space in here.
Good morning.
I'm going to go out for kind of like an extended weekend to see my sisters in Kiev. But I haven't really figured that out with them yet. And, this weekend I'm going to a Wizards game on Saturday.
Oh, fun.
And then Sunday is Super Bowl.
Oh, and you're in
Friend's
East.
house for that. No, I'm not. No, I was born in Jersey.
Oh.
So I'm a Giants fan.
My sister-in-law is a big Giants fan.
Yeah. Grandparents, they were all Giants fans forever. So and then I moved up to Eagle Country in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because your family all is in.
Yes, and like right around like the outside, so like 45 minutes from Philly, so yeah, very close. But I have a lot of friends who are Philly fans, so like we can't talk about football. Like all Philly fans, I can't stand.
Oh, thank you.
Baseball, like I hate
How
Philly.
you doing? Good, good to see you.
Well, it's also like.
Thank you.
And we were like Central Jersey. Yeah. And it was funny because my dad was also a Mets fan, and usually it's Mets, Jets, and Giants, Yankees. But we were not that way. I'm pretty much now baseball and Mets fan. I kind of took them on as my like hometown team. Oh yeah, no, I mean, we didn't really ever go there. Like my first professional baseball game was the Orioles in yards when I was like 24. Yeah, I do really like Lincoln Yards. That's like one of my favorite baseball teams. Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, just don't spill it. It's happened, so please don't spill
Sorry,
it.
that's like,
Should've brought my cardigan.
Yeah, you should have.
Jake, when is that punch bowl bagel caucus?
date's forthcoming.
All right, I'm very excited.
It's in
about
the works.
That was my favorite
in the
thing
works.
I read this morning.
It's in the works.
I'm excited.
I think the first week of March is what I've been told.
All right, good to know.
But we will be more inclusive than Mr. Goldman and more local.
Okay.
In
Greatly
Washington,
appreciated.
we are not going to send someone to New York for bagels.
Donuts or bagels? No. There's nothing like.
We have to actually drive over to New York.
New York and Boston. New York,
I mean, it's a mile.
It's cold.
Yeah, there was, my favorite bagel shop ever was like out in Rockville, and it was a Jewish bakery, or the Jewish bagel shop, and they closed it, like 2 years ago. So anytime I was ever out that way, I would just stop and bring them back to Virginia. We've got like, what's the bagel going on? There's a little Brooklyn bagel.
My like bitchy comment.
But sometimes it's
Decided not to tweet.
Should you say this in like cameras or?
There's just something like,
It's just that
I think it's.
yeah, it's fun to be in the minority.
Well, I know there are people who, actually, I don't know, people bagel shop.
But I didn't feel like.
Well, that's a new one for you.
So yeah, they just opened a new.
I do miss bagels. Best thing about living in New York, bagels and pizza. Delis, diners, proper diners in New York and New Jersey.
Oh, cool. Good to meet you.
Diners here.
It wasn't.
God, it's cold.
Want me to make it even then?
This is still sushi. And then maybe, like grab that chair right there. Because one of the two, like, you ever have, you get like the eye that won't stop wandering?
Oh,
I said for like 2 hours this morning. It was like this eye, and you're trying to put makeup on it, and it just keeps watering and watering and watering. It's like, oh my God. My whole body is breaking down. Well, that's
No,
like
I was
also
just
like,
thinking of it
so
because
I
of
can
the
only
crossword puzzle.
it doesn't work. I know people who can take it very
God damn it.
Yeah. my sister did it.
New York Times. Thursday is always a theme, so that means that it could be good or bad.
Is this the one that like they let you put whole ass words in like little boxes?
Yeah. Sometimes.
I can snooze for another 20 minutes. It's like the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
And I use
Did you
like
see my
that.
roommate left it dinner last night?
Actually doesn't
I did
work
not.
like that,
Oh.
that often.
To be fair, I wasn't
It's so
looking
much
for
better
him.
for my hair.
To be fair.
But yeah, I go more than like black and stuff like
Mm.
that. I just don't have a lot of hair.
I saw Eric.
Well, see, New York one package on the bagel crackers.
It will be a
I
vote.
think the senator Patty Murray was
Head
like,
host.
It's another 27-minute package.
There were.
No, that's just under Keegan.
Okay.
well, Schumer, right?
I mean, I think
Don't get jealous about
I think Simon might
Thank you
have
for
some
choosing
words with you.
I'm so bad at this.
My record is 14 seconds for the mini crossword puzzle.
Really?
I've only done it once. Usually I'm not able to crack 20, but one time.
For my long-term relationship.
Really feels
Like,
like
that's just my life
People
back.
get up very fast at
Yeah.
dawn, early hours. I'm not. After Alan,
We're flying
after
into
Rick.
Manchester with my brother lives in Manchester. And then we're both my brothers, my Jersey brother and myself are both flying to Manchester.
clearly you don't do the crossword every day.
And how long?
We come back Saturday,
You're too cool
so
for the crossword.
Tuesday to Saturday.
It's okay. I'll live longer than you.
It was,
It's like our,
I guess,
started last year with my
oh
baby.
yeah. Early birds.
Did New Hampshire.
You know what threw me off is,
So far. And so my,
Yeah.
you gotta talk to me.
Yeah, sometimes, cause my two runners live right by my mom, and so sometimes when I go up,
oh,
my older sister is in Brooklyn, and my mom, because she always gets so upset when like the
That's
three
a
of us
you
are together,
problem,
and she's like
honestly.
not, and so she's like, I'm your fellow.
He was the star of
So
math.
we'll see how this goes. I think
I threw myself off because it's like taboo color for wedding guests, and I was like black. Because I was like, yeah, you don't want to look like you're at a funeral, but then I realized, oh no, it's probably white because you don't
But
want
it's
to
like every other year,
look like you're
because,
getting married.
Mhm.
it's too expensive to do it every year.
Hi, Graham. How about you?
I do that.
Did you get your shot of McConnell yesterday? Was that yesterday? 2 days ago. That was 2 days ago?
I don't think I got Asian.
Yeah.
Was that really? I guess that was, yeah, it was yesterday they were totally out.
And you always have like, one or two veterans always sticky in that room. I don't know what they do, but it's always like.
Oh, Jeffries. I mean, he'll probably. I mean, I assume he'll wrap it around 11 because that's when it goes get cold.
There's nobody in the green room. So it makes you more worried.
That does make me worried.
I don't like
Democrats are moving on time.
You know what? I'm not gonna be here.
You're leaving.
Yeah. He's not on time. I have things to do.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Damn, they made news though today. They made news at the press conference that she's gonna be listening.
Oh. You think they're gonna make news?
Santos suddenly stepped down from committees. He was really a stubborn son. So I don't know, maybe it was the.
Good morning. Good morning. What's up?
Morning, everyone. It's been a very important week for President Biden and Democrats in framing the moment that we are in, the work that has been accomplished under the leadership of President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, House and Senate Democrats in getting big things done on the issues of importance to everyday Americans, creating more than 12 million jobs in President Biden's first 2 years in office, reducing the deficit by $1.7 trillion, lowering costs, supercharging the economy when it was on the brink of a deep recession, and moving in the right direction. As President Biden eloquently, strongly, thoughtfully articulated in the face of very disrespectful, unbecoming behavior on the other side of the aisle, that we've done a lot, but there's still work to be done to lower costs, to fight for better paying jobs in every single community, and of course to lean in on public safety. And we look forward to partnering with President Biden in the work ahead, implementing the tremendous pieces of legislation that were passed into law, while at the same time defending Social Security, defending Medicare, defending democracy, defending a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions, and pushing back against the extreme MAGA Republican agenda, which is totally out of control. Questions?
We saw, but almost all Republicans stand up and agree with Biden and Social Security and Medicare off the table. Do you believe that? Do you think that they've taken that off the table?
That remains to be seen. We have said that the United States has a responsibility to pay the debts that have already been incurred, that Congress has already signed off on, in order for us to continue to be able to elevate the health, the safety, the economic well-being of the American people. So we have to meet our obligations. And it's not clear to me that the extreme MAGA Republicans are prepared to do that. And so what we have continuously said to our Republican colleagues is simply put your cards on the table. Show us your plan. Do you want to cut Social Security? or not? Do you want to cut Medicare or not? Do you want to cut veterans' benefits or not? What is your plan? And once you put your plan on the table, the American people can evaluate it, Congress can evaluate it, House Democrats can evaluate it, and we can figure out how to end this effort to shake down the American people in connection with the debt ceiling.
Yeah, you've got Medicare and Social Security off the table. Is there any particular reason that I haven't
Not
heard?
clear to me that it's off the table
Well,
right
for
now.
Democrats, it's off the table, correct?
We are going to defend Social Security and Medicare, no cuts.
Why isn't Medicaid in that category?
Well, first of all, I think what we've said is everything that impacts the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people is in the category of being off the table in the context of paying bills that the Congress has already incurred, which means meeting our obligation to protect the full faith and credit of the United States of America in the context of the debt ceiling. At the same time, what we have said is that there's a budget process and there's an appropriations process. And we are willing to have a conversation with the other side of the aisle about how to invest in making life better for everyday Americans, how to invest in the middle class, how to invest in all those Americans who aspire to be part of the middle class. But in order to have that conversation, that discussion, the extreme MAGA Republicans have to put their cards on the table. Show us your plan. Otherwise, there can be no reasonable discussion.
Thank you. Have you spoken with, or will you speak to Speaker McCarthy about some of the conduct of his members, taking on his president, calling him a liar and things? He is responsible. He didn't gavel anybody down during the speech the other night. Should he have been more aggressive in trying to preside over the House of Representatives?
I have not had that conversation with Speaker McCarthy, but as far as I'm concerned, the behavior of the extreme MAGA Republicans speaks for itself. And I'm confident that the overwhelming majority of the American people found that aggressive, childish, petulant behavior by the extreme MAGA Republicans who were yelling and screaming on the floor of the House during President Biden's State of the Union address to be distasteful.
Should he, though, have intervened to some degree? This is a state.
Thanks. Next question.
On the subject of Congresswoman Omar, last week before the vote to remove her from the Foreign Affairs Committee, she said that, quote, "My leadership and voice will not be diminished if I'm not on this committee for one term." That to me seems to suggest that perhaps you might have had a conversation with her about reappointing her to Foreign Affairs in the future. Has that happened? Are you willing to make that commitment?
Well, we have made clear that it was wrong to remove Representative Ilhan Omar in a partisan way from her committee assignment to Foreign Affairs. She is currently on the Budget Committee, and that was a unanimous decision that was made by the House Democratic Caucus to place her on the Budget Committee where she can defend American values, defend Social Security, defend Medicare, defend Medicaid, defend the things that elevate the health, safety, and economic well-being of the American people, and push back against right-wing extremism. If Ilhan Omar expresses interest in the future in being restored to the Foreign Affairs Committee, that is certainly something that I will support.
Mr. Leader, there was a pretty robust debate in a committee hearing a few weeks ago about an amendment allowing weapons into committee hearings that Republicans removed. It actually doesn't really have any effect because the House rules supersede that says that weapons cannot be brought anywhere on the Capitol complex, including onto the floor of the House. But there's no screening mechanism in place to prevent that from happening. Are you concerned that there could be members of Congress that are carrying weapons throughout the Capitol complex, even down to the House floor, especially since the mags have been taken down outside the House chamber?
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on this issue one way or the other. I haven't looked closely into it, but here's what I will say generally about the first few weeks of this extreme MAGA Republican majority. They are focused on issues that have nothing to do with making life better for everyday Americans. And every single week, there's another example of Republicans not focused on dealing with inflationary pressures, not focused on jobs, not focused on the economy, not focused on the health and well-being of the American people, not focused on public safety, not focused on lowering costs. So today, the so-called Committee on Weaponization, which is really just an extreme MAGA Republican subcommittee to obstruct justice, is again going to convene focused on peddling conspiracy theories and catering to the far right-wing fringe of America. This is not a Republican majority in the House of Representatives that is engaged in doing anything to make life better for everyday Americans. They'd rather go investigate President Biden's family and laptops than address the issues of concern that affect the middle class, those who aspire to be part of the middle class, and everyday Americans. And it's shameful, and I don't expect it to change. Second row.
Sir, Speaker Pelosi, or former Speaker Pelosi, recently said that she didn't.
Speaker Emerita.
Speaker Emerita Pelosi recently said that she didn't want to be a mother-in-law for the caucus, a mother-in-law in the kitchen. How's it been for the caucus with her in this new role?
It's been wonderful for me to be able to consistently talk to Speaker Pelosi, lean on her for her advice, her thoughts, her guidance, her suggestions, her experience as the greatest speaker of all time in the United States of America. The factual and historic record, in my view, makes that indisputable. It's wonderful to have Speaker Pelosi around and available for myself and Pete and Catherine and others to rely upon for her advice and guidance. Kevin?
There's a resolution being introduced today by some freshmen and younger members of the caucus to expel George Santos. Have you been read in on that, and do you support moving forward with that?
I haven't had the opportunity to look at the precise language connected to the resolution. I can only imagine what it says, and it certainly speaks for itself. George Santos is a complete and utter and total fraud. And that fraud was perpetrated on the American people with aid and comfort from the extreme MAGA Republican establishment. And they are still coddling him here in the United States Congress. Third row.
You mentioned last week that you didn't want to get ahead of the CDC before their meeting with the president and vice president on police reform. Now that they've had the meeting, now that President Biden gave his State of the Union, have you spoken with Chairman Horsford on a path forward on police reform in the House?
President Biden spoke in an extraordinarily personal, authentic, and compelling way during the State of the Union about the need to strengthen the relationship between the police and the community, lean into public safety in a fact-based and sensible way, and also ensure that there's accountability when things go wrong. I think President Biden struck exactly the right tone, and it laid a foundation for there hopefully to be meaningful bipartisan conversations between the House and the Senate moving forward with respect to the issue of police reform. Dia?
So the House panel on weaponization, they're having their first hearing today. Ranking Member Plaskett is a former Brooklyn prosecutor. You both served on as impeachment managers. Curious if you had any advice for her, what you guys talked about. Can you preview anything, what we'll expect today?
Well, the members on the Democratic side of the aisle who serve on the Weaponization Committee are experienced in dealing with oversight, accountability, and our congressional duties in a reasonable, rational, and responsible fashion, and are going to be ready to push back against the extremism that we are going to see from the Weaponization Committee. The American people do not support this Weaponization Committee, but it's Exhibit A of the extreme MAGA Republican agenda, which is not designed to do anything to make a difference in the lives of the American people. This is why President Biden's remarks during the State of the Union was so powerful and compelling, because he spoke about job creation. He spoke about the economy. He spoke about achieving the American dream. He spoke about helping everyday Americans to lower costs against aggressive corporate overreach that takes place in the day-to-day lives of everyday Americans. These are the issues that we're going to continue to focus on. The Weaponization Committee is another unnecessary distraction, and it's a waste of time and the treasure of the American people.
Did you have any specific advice for her?
Be yourself.
All right.
The last time a member was expelled in trafficking more than 20 years ago, there was an FBI DOJ investigation, there was a criminal trial in federal court, then the House Ethics Committee took up the case and reviewed it, voted, recommended to expel him. Do you think just rushing to expel Santos, for as much of a fraud as he obviously is, but without any of those type of steps being completed, would set a really weird precedent?
Yeah, I haven't taken a position on the resolution, and I haven't read the resolution. Thanks. You good?
There was a briefing on the Chinese spy flight this morning for House members, and some House Republicans are accusing President Biden of not spending enough time on China during his State of the Union speech. I was wondering, do you think the president should have addressed the issue more on Tuesday?
I think the president has been incredibly strong as it relates to the strategic competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party. President Biden took decisive action that both resulted in making sure that that surveillance balloon was downed, but was taken down in a way that didn't jeopardize the safety and well-being of the American people, and also allowed for the United States to recover the remains of the surveillance balloon in a manner that will yield significant intelligence benefits for our country.
Last week, in the effort to get the votes to kick Foreign Affairs, McCarthy had promised his members there would be a review on code of conduct and a process by which future decisions like this are made. He said he had a conversation with you about that. Are you willing to have Democrats participate in this process? And if so, have you named any yet who will be working with his members on developing this code of conduct process?
We had an initial conversation on this issue. It was a positive conversation, but I think the position that I've consistently taken with respect to any efforts in this 118th Congress has been, let's see the type of members that will be involved on the Republican side in any efforts to achieve a bipartisan result. That was the case with the Select Committee on the Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party. And upon seeing the members that were appointed by Speaker McCarthy to that Select Committee, largely serious members on the other side of the aisle, doesn't mean we're not going to strongly disagree with them in many areas, but we'll work to seriously tackle this issue in a bipartisan way. If there are serious members who are appointed on the Republican side with respect to trying to find a path forward with respect to committee assignments, then we're willing to engage in that in a serious way. But I've got to see who is going to be leading the effort on the other side of the aisle.
Last question.
Go to the back. Thanks.
During the State of the Union, President Biden mentioned two things on COVID fraud. One was tripling the anti-fraud strike group, and the other was extending the statute of limitations. Given that it was revealed yesterday that $191 billion has been misused, and that number continues to go up just about every month, is this something that can actually get done in this Congress?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I think we all support the notion that taxpayer dollars and resources should be used in an effective, efficient, and equitable fashion. And that there's got to be accountability at the back end for any misuse of taxpayer dollars in any area, and that there's got to be guardrails put in on the front end. And hopefully we'll be able to find some common ground with the other side of the aisle on this issue. Thank you, everyone.